Hey, how's it going, everyone? So I'm about to start doing my video for the second time because I just did an entire 10-minute video. I uploaded it and everything, but I noticed there was a problem with the audio halfway through. Ironically, this video is going to be about how I like to keep things simple, and that includes keeping technology simple and not always going for the latest and greatest and trying to keep things not networked. And you'll see what I mean. But anyways, ironically, after my GoPro had an update, which I don't normally use my GoPro because I don't like the wide angle, and even though I know you can turn it off, I also don't like the fact it doesn't have zoom, and I don't like the colors in the GoPro shows very much. But anyways, I used my GoPro because my regular hand cam, which uses AA batteries, had dead batteries. So I went and got new batteries now so I could redo this video properly with my old school camera, which always seems to work. Anyways, I'm in here and I hear this howling and wind outside. I'm parked at my buddy's place where we're doing some work on the vehicle, and I heard some crashes and trees outside and tons of wind, and I just went outside to see what was going on, and look at this. Turns out my house is the only house on the block that has any power right now. Literally, everything is black. How ironic. Oh man. Maybe I should start my generator and let him plug his house in. What do you think? Anyways, Emmy, what are you doing in my seat? Hey. Meow. Yes, I got a little seat. I got my bar stool there. It's going to be bolted there permanently. We started working on the tongue and groove wood. We got to stain it all. And the fireboxes, it's working great. I got my Presto logs, which are fantastic. These things, I used a log and it went pretty much all last night. They're fantastic. Anyways, about the video. Most of you know I like to keep things simple. I'm not a fan of change unless it's something like this. Like I bought a new motorhome and I get to do new things and create and have some fun and all. But when it comes to technology, one thing that really, really ticks me off is when you buy something and it constantly needs to be updated. It's always getting software updates, and even worse if you can't just continue using it without updates. To me, it's like, why did I spend money on this product? If I ever have to plug it in and connect to the internet just to keep my product going, then it's not a product I want to buy. Some pretty crazy flashes over there, transformers exploding again. Whoa, that was a big flash. Yeah, I heard that. There's a transformers keep exploding every few minutes, and it's like, it must be from a substation, but it's just one after another going, eh?
It's unbelievable.
So I am doing a video about being off the grid, and yeah.
I'm out of power.
And this guy lives in a house here, and he's out of power. Whoa, another one. Hey? What do you think? You lucky cat. Yeah. All right, we'll go see if Wendy's has any power.
See if Wendy's has power.
Kind of scary out there, and I had no idea what was going on. I was just stuck in here about to start doing a video, but you see, it's nice to be off the grid, even in the middle of a city. So there's a lot of things, though, that a lot of RVers do, which I think, to each their own, do what you want to do, but are a little bit unnecessary. It's like when people think it's smart, or the word smart is related to tech and the internet when it comes to things to improve our lives and whatnot. For example, there's a company here in Canada that has Smart House, or Smart Home they're calling it, and they're basically, you'll be able to turn on and off your thermostat and lock your doors all from a remote app on your smartphone, even if you're not home. To me, though, to be really smart would mean that you have absolutely no connection to the grid, and you are not relying on software or monitoring services to do things for you. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and get an alarm, but you know what I mean? There's a big difference here. I prefer hardware over software, by far. I'll never drive an autonomous car. I want the human control. not just for the pleasure of driving, but to know that I'm in control and not some computer is in control, and to know that it's not on a grid. It's not connected to GPS, satellites, and internet to control me, my movement, my vehicle, and where I go and how fast I go and all that. That, to me, is the ultimate human freedom, to be able to turn that key, rev that engine, and go. And so I will always prefer that over software. And same goes for everything else. I just bought myself a new laptop. And to some people, it might not seem so new because it's an older style. It's tough though. It's a business laptop, much like I used at a lot of places I used to work at, with a brushed aluminum casing, and it locks closed and you actually push the button to unlock it and pop it back up. It's shockproof, it's dustproof, you know, all that stuff. Even though it's new, it's running an old version of Win 7 on it, professional. And that's perfectly fine with me, because as good as Windows 8 and Windows 10 is, Windows 7 works just fine for me, and it's all familiar. So I love that aspect of it. It's just like going from my old laptop to my new laptop, except it's all cleaned out and ready to go. The other thing that bothers me is when software updates. Now, I use an old Pinnacle Studio for a lot of my video editing, and I use version 15. They're already up to like version 19 plus 2 or 3 or something like that. It's like different versions of 19, I think it is. I tried them. I don't like them. In fact, they make me tear my hair out because they're a totally different type of software, and it's not just like a little upgrade from one to the next. It's a totally different learning curve. It's like starting from scratch, and it won't load any of my dozens and dozens of preloaded projects and intros and outros and all the little clips that I have for not just this site but other things I do on the internet. I already have for this software, and I don't want to have to start it all over again for a few extra little benefits, supposedly. So I went to the trouble of locating, finding, and downloading the old software once again onto my brand new Windows 7 laptop, and I am happy as a clam. This, to me, again, simplicity. I got a new stereo for my dashboard. Now, it's a double-din. Sorry there. Is it still recording? It's a double-din stereo up front, so I got room for the big ones. Unfortunately, most of them are touchscreens. I don't need a touchscreen on my dashboard. I already have a GPS, I already have a phone. And the last thing I want when I'm reaching over for music is to deal with a touchscreen, especially if you got coffee on your hands or something like that. You want to just hit the volume button or change a CD or switch to something else to listen to. It shouldn't be that complicated. Touchscreens can be great and all, but it's a hell of a lot easier if you're looking out the windshield, you reach over and you can actually just go by feel. You know what button is which, and there's nice big clicks when you press them, and a big volume knob to turn up and down the volume. Amazing. Such a simple, novel idea. Well, guess what? I found it. Brand new, yet old school, and it is solid. It's got the big, satisfying, clicky buttons, the big volume knob, and it will last a lot longer than touchscreen, I guarantee you. So, I love it. Another thing, I'm going to pick up a game system. I'm not a gamer, but I'm not going to go for a PS4 or Xbox or anything that has to ever be networked for any reason. I don't like to buy a product and have to have it on the internet, aside from, say, a computer, which again I can disconnect and do things offline as well. But when it comes to video games, I'm an old schooler, and look what my friend found me. Over at Bed Bath & Beyond for their Christmas sale, they've got an old school Atari and a Sega Genesis with 80 built-in games for $50. Hell yeah! I'm gonna buy this thing, hook it up to my my new TV, and do some gaming, and I'm gonna do it with absolutely no internet connection to make it happen. So simplicity, again, can be a wonderful thing. A lot of people in their RVs think it's efficient or smart if they go and get 10 solar panels, which are mined from rare earth materials overseas and cause a lot of environmental destruction. Now, you know I'm not a granola crunching tree hugger, but if you want to talk about real environmental issues, you should take a look at how they make most solar panels and where they make most solar panels. Same goes for batteries. So you could get 10 solar panels on the roof, you could get 10 extremely heavy toxic batteries and fill up your RV with them, just so you can plug in an electric coffee maker or a microwave or whatever it is you think you need or want, and just to feel smart like you're off the grid. But to me, that's like, what the hell are you doing? That's not efficient. It's not even smart. How about, you want to make coffee? How about you go and you buy one of these Coleman coffee makers. It sits on the propane stove, or I can stick it on my wood stove, and it makes coffee just like one you plug in, and it uses 0 watts of electricity. It's a hell of a lot more efficient to use a couple cents of propane or stick it on the wood stove than to use hundreds of watts of electricity just to make coffee. Like, think about that for a second. There are people, though, that will actually go to the trouble of solarizing and batterizing their entire rigs, which, the solar panels may last 20, 25 years, but the batteries won't. They're only going to last a couple of years, and you'll have to replace them a lot more often than that if you use it for really heavy, intensive things like coffee makers and microwaves and all that. So to me, it's nonsensical. It makes no sense at all. It's the opposite of being smart. It's, yes, sure, you could do it, but why? If I want to heat something up or heat my house, I'm not going to go and get 10 batteries and 10 solar panels and plug in an electric heater. I just use a piece of wood. It works amazingly. You can even get thermoelectric generators for these wood stoves, which will charge my batteries while I have a fire going. I mean, sometimes common sense is doing the simple thing. It's like kids these days. You see them sitting there sending text messages back and forth to somebody all day, 1,000 texts later, and they could have just pressed the phone call button and said all that in 1 minute flat. It's like the human race is going backwards in evolution sometimes, you know? It's like making a voice call is infinitely more efficient and far more advanced than sending a few characters on a screen back and forth. Like, think about that for a second, right? Just make the call. It's so much simpler. Just burn some wood. It's so much simpler. I mean, there's just... And if you think this stove is expensive, wait until you cost out the solar panels and batteries required to run coffee makers and microwaves all day. So, it's all relative. So in a nutshell, I like to keep things simple. As you know, I like to keep things... I love my gadgets and toys, don't get me wrong. But I think that there should be a line drawn, and that more is definitely not better. In fact, it can just make things worse and more complicated and less efficient. So I think I'll have everything in this motorhome running comfortably off about a 100 or 120 watt panel, one single panel and 2 to 3 batteries, maximum. That's all I would need. That's all I could conceivably ever need, and I'll be comfortable doing it. And I mean, there are people out there that are very happy with far less than that. So it doesn't seem like it's underkill, and it doesn't seem like it's overkill. It seems just about right. So that's my view on being off-grid. And to me, something like this is the ultimate smart house. Not a house that's connected to the grid, connected to the internet, and relying on satellite connections and internet connections. That, to me, is not smart. That is a convenience, and it is a luxury, and it's for entertainment in a lot of ways. But it doesn't make you smart. As you can see right now. No one on this block out there is very smart right now. Well, maybe one person. Not that I like to brag or anything. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Keep on